Hey guys, Rob here from D&D Toy Reviews, and today we're going to be looking at the 6-inch GI Joe Classified version 3.0 Roadblock. So let's dive right in and start off with his accessories. So first we have his helmet, and it's got lots of great details molded into it. Like the place where you have Velcro patch for mounting your country's flag or other morale patches, the fast mounts for night vision goggles and other gear. It looks like it's molded in black plastic and then painted green, and it's painted really nicely. There's no thin spots where the plastic underneath is showing through. We get his pistol, which looks like some kind of a version of a Desert Eagle with the Piccadilly mount on top. The only gripe I have with this is, well, two gripes really. One, the grip, the grip here is very thin compared to the rest of the pistol. It looks a little undersized when you look at the size of the upper receiver. And it's because it's so wide at the top, it's a little difficult to get it into the thigh holster. And I actually ended up stabbing my thumb a bit on the hammers pushing it in. But once you get it in, it's okay. And he can hold that just fine. So just work it into his hand here. And he'll hold that just fine and dandy. And also here it is in the thigh holster, and now I've got it in. The first time it fits in a lot easier, but the first time putting it in was really difficult. Come on, stand up, Roadblock. And then finally we get his minigun, Gatling gun, whatever you'd like to call it. In the box it comes separated as two parts, and you just slide the ammo drum into that bottom track like that, and it holds very nicely. It's made of a very sturdy plastic. Even the handles are quite sturdy, not that rubbery stuff that they sometimes use. And the barrels can spin. And I guess if you have some blast effects with a small enough peg, you could port them in here. Same with this pistol. And that's it. So let's move on to Articulation! Okay, so starting at the head, we get the usual Classified series articulation with the hinge in the neck with a ball going up into the head, so he gets wonderful range of movement. And it looks like, yeah, there's a ball going down into the torso as well. So plenty of movement in the head. Lots of expressions you can pull off. We get a butterfly for the shoulders, and the shoulders are on that heavy ratchet. Well, not really, it's like a heavy plastic ratchet going up and down, so they'll hold their position just fine. We get a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, swivel and hinge at the wrist, and both wrists are the in and out kind of motion. We get an ab crunch that is actually clicky ratcheted, and in the waist we get a ball joint. So you can get lots of motion going on. The web gear does kind of, well, not web gear, but the harness, sorry, does kind of get pushed around, or sometimes it can get in the way of the articulation a little bit, but you can just push it right back in place, no worries. We get the drop down hip. That doesn't drop down too much, but enough. So you can get out to the side pretty far. You just want to make sure you push it back up before you try to push the leg. Kick to the front pretty far, back pretty much nothing. We get a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, boot cut, hinge, and rotation at the ankle. So plenty of articulation. And the thigh holster looks like it's either been plugged in or glued to the leg, so it doesn't move around and drop down like some of the earlier Classified figures thigh holsters would do. And getting the Gatling gun into his hand is a little tricky because of the way the fingers are molded. So it can be a bit difficult, but once you get it in there, He can hold it just fine. If we can get him to hold it. So yeah, see, like, it can be a little bit difficult getting those fingers wrapped around because you don't want to warp the plastic or stress the handles too much. But once you get him holding it, as you saw in the beginning of the video, he can hold the giant Gatling gun just fine. We'll get him posed up a little bit there. Give him his helmet back. And there he is, ready to kick some Cobra butt. And just for a comparison, here he is with the Cobra Island Roadblock. Now, the one thing that does seem to be missing is he doesn't seem to have his tattoo, which is not a big deal, but, you know, it would have been nice to see that carried over. But I suppose you could always just swap the arms on these if you really wanted to. Although it looks like they might be a slightly different shade of brown. And my Roadblock has something red stuck to his arm. So yeah, this probably a lot easier to find than the Cobra Island version. And this is the Roadblock that we should have had from the get-go. The first Roadblock had that weird space fork thingy, and the wrong kind of head sculpt, wrong gear, web gear, vest, and all that. It wasn't a bad figure, but it just doesn't, you know, Roadblock. But this, well done, Hasbro. Good job. Just too bad it took you 3 times to do it right.